Hey, today is January 5th, 2023. Happy New Year to everybody. I am looking at EU on a 1 hour time frame. Um, Yesterday we had FOMC minutes and some news announcements, etc., causing these big initiations. Although this one, not this, I don't think that this was caused by FOMC, this movement here. This was something else today, but this was just recently, and then I think we had the minutes come in yesterday at 11. So our outlook is still the same. We're initiating away from this high, and so we're looking at for sells, right? So this block was holding, and then we formed this new block here that's holding, and we saw this mitigation. This mitigation here is a unmitigated portion of a bi-primary, so it's super valid mitigation. And this kind of stuff is very important. So I believe yesterday we had some, I think this was a valid mitigation and this was a valid mitigation. So we were sort of caught between two worlds. It might have been this one, or even this one. It was one of these lows that was super valid as a mitigation. It must have been this one actually. Thinking about it, must have been this one, and they mitigated something to the left um, that was unmitigated, but it was actually primaries. Right, that's the key: is to mitigate a primary. And so they mitigated the primary and then initiated away, but we weren't certain that was the high. It was kind of like, is it? Maybe not certain, right? I initially thought this could be the high. This was a by primary mitigation as well. And then they came up, got a second one, and then that's the high that actually causes a break of structure. So it's like you can totally trade off of those, is what I'm saying. So if you see them as a mitigation, as a primary mitigation, you can totally start to see how price action is delivering and entering the market, and hopefully get some sort of a movement down or up, depending on the direction. So let's just jump to the lower time frame, because there's not really an awful lot we can see. We wake up to these huge bars is really what we've done, right? We've ranged, accumulated a large position, then initiated away. So we're initiating lower prices, and I write right here on my chart, liquidity has just been taken, meaning under this low here, we've just taken liquidity. Therefore, new intentions are potentially coming in, meaning what? Higher prices, basically, is what I'm thinking, right? Because we've just taken a low. We can keep initiating lower prices, and I'm very confident in saying that we will be going lower prices than where we are right now. But it's a matter of like, well, when? And so we don't know if this is going to be the range that's going to hold it and push down. We don't know if it's going to just come from here. We don't know if they're just going to keep initiating. The only way we can tell is by looking at lower time frame price activity and discovering what's going on. So let's go to our lower time frame, and we can sort of see what's going on. I'll talk about all these buys. But for starters, let's go to our 1 minute EU, right? So 1 minute, here we are. So I wake up and all of this has already been printed to the chart. I haven't seen any of it live, but I'm able to spot a sell primary that formed. Range, and they break structure somewhere over on the left. Price sends from this low to this high, zips up, comes in, breaks on itself, and continues to break some other structure on the left, making this a valid primary range that I can trade off of. As I analyze what happened from the B to C leg within the primary, I can see that there is a strong. I don't want to say the word strong, but there is a range at the correct area that we're looking for, the upper 50% of this range right here, that is unmitigated. Number one, and has caused a break in structure, right? It's range initiate. I mean, because it's a primary, right? So it's obviously caused a break in structure, but it's a solid range that's unmitigated. Let's just leave it at that. We've bobbed, broken structure, bobbed back up, created this, and mitigated something. What did we mitigate? Well, it was a transitional order block. So as I analyze this on a 15 seconds, like I'm looking at this, going, well, what is this? Is there anything special about it? And honestly, there's nothing that special about it. It's just a mitigation of an order block. And so it's basically you could, it depends how you're drawing it. It's a cell block, right? So there you go. Transitional. I color them in mauve or purple, whatever color that is. But what that means is price came up, price came down, didn't spend much time mitigating it, and so it came back to mitigate it. And in my experience, if that is not a primary, then that will become cause. Even if it is a primary, it will become cause, but it becomes cause at a later time. And so this is a sooner time kind of. This is the best way I can think of saying it. This is going to be taken sooner than later. Is what my analysis is telling me, just based on past experience watching the market. Okay, so I don't know when. We've already broken structure and moved away. So, but I believe it will be relative to this time frame in this chart. So, what does that mean? It could mean that we're going to initiate lower prices from here, come down about somewhere into this sort of area before we come back, have that reaction out of a buy primary, and take liquidity. Maybe react from here, or use this as liquidity, right? So we don't know how it's going to get played, but we do know that it's likely to, um, price is likely to come up. So as we continue, right? So we've got sell primary, absolutely valid, absolutely playable, and then we get this one here, this new sell primary that's come in that hasn't been activated. What do I mean by that? So I've got this range here, an initiation away, break structure, and I believe this broke some other kind of structure on it on to the left, right? This one comes in and breaks structure on itself, but doesn't break any other structure. There's no other breaking structure. So this one is not activated. That's how I consider it. Not an activated primary. Does that mean it's invalid? No, it just means it's inactive at this time. So we're just waiting to see if it could become active. See how we took the high, and then into a valid active primary, right? So here's the high, and this candle right here just took that high into a valid sell primary and is now initiating prices lower. So this could be, right? Obviously, this could be the mitigation that's going to cause lower prices. I'm not going to get involved with it if it is. It's a bit late for me now. It's coming up to 10 a.m. It's 9:55, and I finished my session at 10 today, and so I'm not interested in getting involved in that sell, even though I believe that it is creating or has created a sell primary, so it looks like it's a valid trade. We'll look at that in just a second, on 15 seconds. But first, let's go back to my buys, right? Because I'm currently in one buy, but I took these three and they won't break even. I really do feel I've got a great understanding of what's going on here. This is kind of trickier to navigate, trickier price action, I should say. But to get into three buys, have three good reactions, or four buys, I should say, and have four good reactions, is really sort of. I'm proud of myself. I'm happy with myself. It does look like this one's going to fail as well. It looks like they're all going to fail, if I'm honest. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter. I can totally start changing my take profits, take smaller profits, whatever. It's the fact I'm understanding when to sort of buy, when a movement's going to happen, is what's so exciting to me. So let's talk about it. So we come in. There we go. Let's make it look a little like this. There we go. So we've come in to a low and we've mitigated something. And immediately I look at it, what it is, because we've sort of had a reaction, a strong sort of reaction. And I'm watching this form live. And by the time candle's over here and price is sort of moving away, I've already analyzed and seen that this is mitigated, unmitigated buy primary. So in my head, I'm thinking buy primary. We just took that liquidity like I talked about, and on the higher time frame, right? Just took liquidity. So there's a potential for a new oh my goodness, why can't I think of the word, intention. That's the word. A new intention coming into the marketplace. So I've got to always see, well, what have we mitigated? So if you look at this one, it wasn't I think this one actually might have been the buy primary, but you can see that we've sort of done something interesting, right? Range, initiation, then they created this sell primary on itself. And so it's like, so they created a sell primary right when they mitigate a buy primary. So it's kind of a weird activity, so to speak, but it's common. I've seen this over and over again. And when I saw this pattern, this is just pattern recognition at this point, which is sad, really, because I don't want to be a pattern recognition trader. I'm not looking for fucking butterflies and fucking dojis and all that kind of horse shit. I'm not looking for patterns at all, and hopefully you're not either. But I did see this pattern show up, and it meant something to me. In my brain, it went, something's up. This isn't typical about to initiate lower prices. Sure enough, this is a sell primary that's initiated, right? But it, like I said, it did not break structure on itself, so it hasn't activated. I think that was maybe is what I'm seeing, but I don't think it's that. I think it's more just this sort of where they range, they initiate, they break that structure, they come in to create that the sell primary with the intention of always taking the high. And so if I'm still in this trade, we'll look in a little bit, but if I am still in this trade here, it looks like we might be going high prices up here now, right? So that's very good for my trade. But anyway, um, I see this happen. I'm now see what it's mitigated, the buy primary, and I'm interested. Very, very interested. So I see bullish activity is what I write, right? Range, initiation, break of structure. This comes down, range, and takes liquidity, initiates higher prices, creates this in the B2C leg, this range right here, and then initiates and breaks structure. So can you see why I'm interested in getting in? I believe it's totally like you can see why I might want to get in on somewhere in this B to C leg range that was formed within that B to C leg. This range should hold price. This is my understanding of the market. Sure enough, we can take the low of this and initiate high prices as well. That's absolutely possible. But with as I observe sort of this range right here, I'm just thinking to myself, well, and this is frustrating. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, right? This is a frustrating trade for me to take because this isn't really how I want to trade, but it just made logical sense. Number one, I saw a flaw here. Number two, I saw that my trade would fit here. This is 2 pips. And so this was a limit order. And so I just plonked a limit order right around sort of this area here when price is there. I was on a different screen at the time and it came boom, boom, came in, took me in and was out, right? I was looking at something else and I'd already gotten taken in from my limit order. That's not really how I want to be trading this because what was I trading off of? Was it an order block? Really, what did I trade off of? I just logics my way in. I saw bullish activity. I wanted into the market. I guess you could say it was FOMO, but I'm a fucking trader, bro. I'm a trader. What do traders do? We trade. And so I was willing to take risk here. Like I said, it's not how I really want to be taking risk, but it was okay. So anyway, I got taken in. We initiate high prices. Whoop de woo. Buy primary was activated. Everything was good, and I got an initiation away. Now, as I saw, we're going to need to jump over to my sell screen here as well. So let's try and get these synchronized a little bit here. So as I see this initiation, and we stop right here, I'm going to draw it onto both sides of the screen. Oh, I did. Oh no, I got that one there. Okay, so as you can see, it stopped somewhere. Where does it stop? It stops inside of this not activated primary above this range. And so I immediately thought to myself, well, fuck me, man. If I'm going short, where would I want to go short from? Right there. Right flipping there, right? Because why would, like, it's a primary. It's a range they created right before the primary. There was a range above here as well. So this could have also been the range that they wanted to play off of. And so I understood what was happening, and I really wanted to get out, and at that location. Not kidding. I really wanted sort of anywhere above that liquidity, sort of around here. It would have been a 4 hour trade. That's kind of what I was thinking. And hindsight's 2020, isn't it? I wanted to hold it as well because I thought I was in a really good trade. I thought I was being, the king, the kitty, because hey, look, I'm able to spot buy primary. So it's like my ego is hitting me up, calling me out, going, hey, Gare, like you should hold this, you should hold this, stay in the market, stay in the market. You can get 10R, you can get 10R. This is the thoughts that are going through my head. Anyway, and then I see this, boom, plummets, right? Plummets. And I'm thinking to myself, well, are we creating a potential buy primary, number one, because it could be using this liquidity. But I'm also in that moment thinking now, well, we could also be selling here as well. This could be selling, right? So I draw in the new primary range that's formed here. Boom. So it came up, took the liquidity, broke on itself, and broke some structure. So this is a viable sell range now. So then I look at that range, I look at the A to B to C legs in there, and I see that this is a weaker internal sell primary with no clear range in and around the 50%. What do I mean by that? 50% line somewhere around here. Anywhere up here is really where I'm looking for some kind of range to form that will hold price. And so as I see nothing in here, nothing higher time frame at least, nothing, we're on a 1 minute and we can't even see an up bar in here, not even one on a 1 minute. So I'm like, that's weak. Yes, it's formed. Yes, it broke structure internally, but it didn't take out the structure at the bottom here. And so in my head, I'm like, well, it's weak is really the best way I can think of saying it. So I'm still long. Bias is still long. Okay, I've got this. I know that they do this sort of slow movement around these sort of mitigations. And I also am aware that they might only just pull it up a little bit, taking liquidity before they slam down, right? This is all going to become liquidity. I'm really, really aware of that as well, even though I'm buying. But I'll give you, a really freaking good reason as to why I'm holding up to here. Why I'm willing to take 10-hour trades that are like into this land, and it's because of this high. This high is that transitional high that we looked at just a moment ago. Let's take a peek. Here it is on my right hand side of the screen right now, right? So here's that transitional. So in my head, I'm going, oh, we're coming up for here. That's the goal. They want to take that. This is a valid sell primary. This valid sell primary should hold. In a perfect world, it will come up to here. This will be the range that holds it. On a 15 seconds, we can see that this is a range. It's hard to see with there, but you can sort of see. You see that bar? It's an up bar, right? It's a blue up bar. It's a range. It's the only range in the upper quadrant. They stack liquidity here. I believe this is a stacking rather than anything else. So I'm very interested in seeing what happens around that range. Anyway, so back to my trades. So we're forming this potential buy primary. These become liquidity, right? I'm still not out of the buy bias until we break structure and continue lower prices. I'm not out at all of that mentality. I'm thinking, well, this could be a big buy primary. It's quite a solid looking one. It took liquidity, so new intentions are coming in, right? So as we sell and take liquidity, new intentions come forward potentially. It's all potential. And that's when I see a range initiation, a break of structure, yeah? And I'm in again, like Flynn. And this is really based on, again, my guesstimating that we're going to form a buy primary. Again, not how I want to be trading. I don't want to be trading like this. But holy fucking shit, look at the entry. And I believe this one will likely have played out. If I had the balls of all steel, this trade would have played out. And I'm going to talk about balls of steel now as well, because this is really, I think, pivotal to my current trading mentality and something I'm going to have to change to adopt. And it's when I go live with a trade, I believe what I'm going to have to start doing is set a very, very strict rule that I won't change my stop until a certain criteria has been met. For instance, something like a break of structure, like a major structure, right? Like up here or something. I'm not certain exactly how I'm going to approach this just yet. It's formulating, and it's going to require a lot of testing, thought, checking, training, seeing how I feel about it, all of that. So anyway, we formed this new primary, range, initiation, break structure. They formed this primary. I'm in already at the primary. I could have gotten in here, which would have been a good trade, and I did get in here, which was a good trade. But what I'm saying is I didn't have to enter here, and realistically I should. I'm gonna just put my hands up in the air. But it's my confidence factor because I'm understanding we've bopped out of a buy primary, right? And this became liquidity. It's all making sense to me. This could become a buy primary, and I'm seeing it bounce from here and range initiation, break a structure, and I'm seeing sort of them build it all. So I'm just anticipating their next move, and I anticipated this one correctly. All right, that's how it is. Do you have to anticipate correctly? No, you can just wait for price to formulate and show you what's happening before you need to get in. So this one, I went BE. You can see here, stop loss moved to break even as soon as I broke structure up here. I just didn't really like what's going on, and I get taken out. As I get taken out, I'm understanding still. I'm looking really what's the mitigation. That was the whole thing. Where do we mitigate? Because to get me in on this trade, I'm still interested. Yeah, I've just been taken out. I got fucking annoying FOMO. Boo boo boo. I got taken out. Woohoo! I suck or whatever. And it's all these are the stupid thoughts that sometimes crop up into our heads, right? And so I've got taken out, and then I see this, the mitigation, and I'm like, oh, mitigates inside a primary, right? Mitigates below that range, right? And initiates higher prices. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a great time to buy. Let's see on the 15 seconds kind of how I entered, because I had to see some sort of reaction. And when I saw that candle, that wick come in, take out the high of these candles. Notice that, look, I'm on a 15 seconds. Look at the highs from here all the way down to here. The high is intact, 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 the high is intact. The candle that mitigates, boom, takes out the high from the previous candle. That was it. That was all I needed. We've mitigated something that I recognized, and we've changed character. That is a change of character. Okay? Took the high, took the low. That's really what a change of character is, right? Took the high, took the low. So I enter. Fantastic entry. Really, really fan-fucking-tastic entry. And I will see, where was it? Have I missed one here? Maybe I missed this trade. Did I not talk about this one? I'm already onto this one, right? No, we did talk about this one. I'm sorry. We did talk about this trade already. Okay, yeah, big pardon. It's this that's confusing me. So we're going to talk about this right now. But so anyway, I got in, boom, lovely, fast, strong reaction. I'm thinking, woo, 10-hour days, here we come, boo hoo, on the train, everyone on the train. Boom, this should hold. This is from my A to B to C leg. This is the range that I believe should hold price. What happens? Price comes in, slams through. I'm already break even. It takes me out. It takes me out through spread, not even by touch of my level. Really, really dicky. I also had this was full risk on this one. Had full R, full 1 hour on this one, which was heavy. And sorry, I beg your pardon. This was full two. This was 2%. This was a 2% risk. Everything else was less. These were all ones or 0.5s, right? This was a 2%er because of confidence level. Saw what was going on. I just liked it. 2% risk. It went heavy. I remember I went heavy, and so as it came in, you had to go break even. It's annoying. It is what it is, right? And then before we talk about this, we're just going to talk about this last little trade right here, and which I'm currently in. I believe I'm still in. I don't think I've been spreaded out, but we'll get to see that in just a sec. And let's see here. So what happened was it was this transitional block right here that occurred. So I'm still long mentality. I know I'm in a buy primary that's formed. We know we should react. I'm expecting that anywhere between this order block here should hold price. It doesn't. They turn this into a transitional. This is where we get price held right down here, and it zips up with speed and aggression. And as I see the speed and aggression, I see it go run through the order block again. Right, here's that order block that's turned transitional, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why have they done that? That's interesting. And then I see this sort of, I don't know what you call it, just sort of doohickey here. It's just like they're dipping back in and mitigating this range right here. And so I believe I'm in about here on this candle as it dipped in. I get a terrible fill. I think I'm trying to get filled somewhere like down here ish, and I get a fill up here. This is the market entry, zips up, but it takes me in and my stop gets covered. Now, I know that this is a transitional order block. I know that this will become liquidity. I just don't know when, right? I know it's going to be relative to this time frame. And I know that my entry location isn't the best. But I'm going to hold out. I'm going to hold out for a full 10 hour on this one. I really am just going to hold out because I've got this high up here that I'm a big believer in. And I really do think we are, navigating to higher prices. Where are we likely to turn around? Is this where we're likely to turn around this high? Well, we've already penetrated it a little bit and turned around and had that like small push down that didn't break structure. So I'm not really certain where we could turn from here, other than this block here or above here. We move from primaries to primaries. We know this. We've seen this happen in the marketplace. So we're moving from a sell primary to from a buy primary into a sell primary. This is the higher time frame one that's available here, and sure enough, we're in it right now, so we could be reacting from it. But wouldn't it be logical to react from a certain area within that primary before we initiate lower prices? Yes, is the answer to that. So this could be a mitigation. This could pull down, take me out, take out all of this, take out even down to here, take out all this structure. But I just don't think it's going to take this low. I really do think we're going to have higher prices and we're going to mitigate something. Mitigate some sort of order block or an area that hasn't already been mitigated. Could be in here. I'm just not sure. It's hard to say. I believe that it would be up here would be the best sort of logical place to mitigate and then return low prices from. Whether or not it happens, we'll see. So I'm in this trade. We're running long. Like I said, I'm holding out for the 10 hour. And now I want to talk about this because this is really the lesson of the day for me and maybe for you as well. Who can endure time? This is what I wrote during this trade here, right? Now remember, I've gone heavy. I told you I've gone heavy in this one. 2 hour. 2 hour of risk. I've gone heavy for a reason, because it was a good setup. And I've gone heavy, and I write to myself, well, who can as I'm watching price pull back on me, who can endure the time? And as I see it getting closer and closer, I'm feeling it. And I'm watching how I'm feeling, and I'm listening to it, and it hurts, and I can feel inside of me that it's almost unbearable not locking in my risk at break even, almost freaking unbearable. And so as we're down here at high, in this higher risk area, when I've put more money down, or double the risk or whatever, right? And we haven't initiated, we haven't broken structure yet. How can I endure it? Who can endure this? You can only endure this without having your stop moved. It's very unpleasurable to do so, because it feels like my protection's gone. I'm unprotected, and what I'm gonna analyze the crap out of that feeling. I'm really gonna transition through it, because I don't want to feel like that when I'm trading. I want to feel like I'm trading solid. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in my risk. And so if I'm feeling that exact way, where it's almost unbearable not locking in my risk, knowing that my risk is not break even, is really what it is. I've tricked myself into thinking that break even is risk free. It's not. I pay commissions. I pay about 50% of my risk on commissions, in all honesty. And I think it's just slightly under that. It's like 40% of my 1R risk. And it's ridiculous, to be quite honest with you, the spreads and whatnot, but it's a painful one to not have it locked in. And for me, it emotionally hurts still. And so I am going to work on that. That is an emotional blockage that I'm noticing that I definitely have, because I always want to go break even. As soon as I possibly can, I want to go break even. And so I think it was as soon as I got this breaker structure up here and we're initiating higher prices, I go break even and I get spanked, right? I got absolutely schooled for it, right? And this would have worked out probably, maybe, who knows? Like, but at least we would have been, up here, still in it, not have to faff around with shitty entries here where we get like a transitional and whatnot. I'd still been in a decent entry, probably the best entry, in my opinion, and everything would be hunky dory. But I couldn't take the risk on it, so I didn't feel like I could take the risk. Is actually the correct way of saying it. I didn't feel like I could take the risk on it. I can absolutely take the risk on it. I can afford the risk. I'm a trader. I can risk my bank. My bank account is up for risk, right? That's why I'm trading. I put money down, risking my bank, my bankroll, and I can risk that, and I can afford the risk. And I feel like what's going to happen then is if I do get to a place in my trading career where I'm keeping my stops fully open, then I'm really going to take high probability trades only. It will clean me up. It will clean me up from taking shitty trades. That's really it for today. That's what I wanted to talk about. We're still running on this. Let me check my broker on my phone. Where are we? Yep. Yeah, I didn't get spreaded. I did not get spreaded on this, so that's good. Still in this, and hoping that we can initiate high prices. Right? Is this the mitigation? This is what we've got to ask ourselves. Is this the mitigation? Well, let's see. Let's see on a real low time frame. Let's see, because I'm not certain what this is here. This is what we do. This is what we do. We mitigate something, and we look at it, and we go, "What the fuck have we mitigated? Why do we mitigate that? What is it?" Okay, it's a primary. It's a shit primary. It's a primary. Oops. Why didn't that go? Range, right here. Initiate, break structure. Price comes back up, takes all the liquidity, forms a sell primary, break structure on itself, and then break structure, breaks major structure. This is a sell primary. It's low, it's weak, it's pooey, it's crappy, it doesn't look very good. It's very, very, very weak. It's on 15 seconds. Even on a minute, doesn't look like anything at all. But it's even on a 30 seconds, maybe you can see it on a 30 seconds, but it's 15 seconds only is really what we're seeing here. And on a 5 seconds, we should be able to see it much clearer. Yeah, it's a sell primary. So absolute valid mitigation. Whether or not it will hold or not, we'll see. We just got a higher initiation. Didn't even know it while we were looking. And let's see, did we get? Oh dear me, sorry, I'm clicking buttons all over the place. Hit the space bar there. So we're coming up. So what have we mitigated now? We may as well look at this because this looks aggressive. And this is what you should be doing. Exactly what I'm doing. As price does stuff in the marketplace, look at it and go, what the hell's going on? Look at it on a lower time frame as well. Start getting used to looking at things on low time frames as well as higher time frames. So it's now mitigated an unmitigated portion of a range that was built between built after that sell primary had formed. And so for that reason, it doesn't give me confidence in thinking this is shit, man. It's done exactly the fucking same. Look at this in 5 seconds. It's done another sell primary. Look at this. Weak. Range, initiation, break a structure. Right? Look how weak this is, but it doesn't matter if it's weak. It just matters what it's mitigating, right? Where it wants to mitigate from. Does everyone see it? Is everyone getting this now? We've got a range. We've got a break of structure. This forms, takes the liquidity, forms, eventually breaks structure down here. Let's make sure it does break structure down here. There it goes. Right? So this is an absolute valid sell primary. The thing is, it's weak. And so you shouldn't really be needing to look through your price action trying to identify these now. It's only after the mitigation that you need to start looking at this kind of stuff. But that is absolutely a valid mitigation. That is a valid, weak mitigation, but it's valid. And so, does it matter that it's valid? Absolutely not. And look at what's going on with price now. So this is the reason we're getting these reactions. Now, where would we react from? The best place to react from would be a like I said, an actual primary that's created within the primary formation. What do I mean by that? We've got this A, we've got this B, and from this B to this C leg here, it's very sharp, very quick. But this was the range that formed within that within the primary formation. Remember, this is just a range that formed after, right? So the weight is different on this range here. The weight is different, and as we see the high, and it's a transitional, it makes me think all day long we're high prices. So that's I'm not going to sit here and let it all play out in front of us, but this is my what I'm thinking. And of course, this trade, if I was still in it, had balls of water to steal. Boom, would have connected 10R. 10R actually it would have been like my regular 20R. Right, went in heavy. So that's what's going on. That's what I'm reading. That's how I deal with the markets. Everything's going freaking fantastic. Having a wonderful start to the new year. Really enjoying my trading. Can't wait to start getting my process like really dialed in and hammered down. I've also got these amazing ideas for automated trading of some order blocks in a real good way of primary order blocks. It'd be a primary trading sort of robot, I guess you could call it, but it would be. I've got some fantastic ideas buzzing around my head. Really want to get them out and do that this year. So it's going to be a very amazing year, I feel. Stick around, follow, like, all of that BS. Do whatever you want. I don't really care. It's up to you. This could be forming a sell primary right here as well. Don't forget, whenever we take liquidity, a new intention could be coming in. We just took liquidity here, and that's a potential, right? So anyway, aloha to anybody watching. What day is it? It's Thursday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be around Friday tomorrow, and I'm also taking the entirety of next week off. It's a vacation for me. All right, aloha. Speak to you all soon. Take care of yourselves, and happy trading.